So, when we learned about the indictment of former President Trump, I want to give a little background and set the facts straight, set the record straight. We have a newly elected district attorney, Mr. Bragg, Manhattan. And I'll get to what he ran on. But before that, the previous district attorney looked at this case, looked at the evidence, looked at the different ongoings with what Mr. Trump had been alleged to have done, and decided that there was nothing there. Decided that he was not going to pursue prosecution. That there was no there. Not only did the previous DA decide that, but you may not be surprised to know, does anybody remember Mr. Mueller? Okay. In addition to looking at the alleged Russian collusion and many other things that then led to an impeachment, not just one, but two. In addition to that, the special prosecutor also looked at this case, and it falls under the federal jurisdiction of Federal Election Commission rules and regulations. And Mr. Mueller decided that there was nothing there, that this wasn't something where the law had been broken, where they needed to prosecute. So fast forward to the latest campaign season, and Mr. Bragg unabashedly ran on the prosecution of the former president, on taking what two entities at two different levels had decided did not warrant an actual indictment and pressed forward. That was his campaign promise. Y'all, this to me is scary for so many reasons, but the politicization of our justice system is a road that failed states have taken. It's a road that banana republics have gone down. It's a road that places like Venezuela just 10 years ago decided to go down. All the resources, the beautiful country, things on the economy were going great, and then they go this direction, and they decide to put the party that they don't like in jail. That cannot stand in this country. That cannot happen. And I don't think that it happens in many locations, but in New York City, tomorrow, we will see it happening right before our eyes. The reason that this worries me is not just because we see somebody of the opposite party being indicted for political reasons, but it's because there are other agencies in our government that have been weaponized. You're going to see Jim Jordan, who's chairman of the Judiciary Committee. You're going to see Jamie Comer, who's chairman of the Oversight Committee. And they're going to get media coverage. And they're going to be looked at for the things that they are uncovering on the weaponization of government. In fact, Speaker McCarthy has named a special committee on the weaponization of government. Let me tell you how it affects us right here in Tom Green County. Let me tell you how it affects those in the Permian Basin. The EPA has come after the oil and gas industry. They've come after it with a vengeance because there was a campaign promise in 2019 where Mr. Biden said, and I quote, "I will end the fossil fuel industry." And every tool has been used to do that. So much so that we see new endangered species popping up. We have a threat of a non-attainment area in the Permian Basin. Waters of the U.S., anybody familiar with WOTUS here? That seeks to look at navigable waterways and put them under the jurisdiction of the federal government. Those are now creeks and ponds and seasonal waterways that are not navigable, but that are on private property. And the politicization goes on. It includes the 87,000 IRS agents that were funded. And by the way, we told you that if we got the House back, we told you that if we got the speakership, that we would defund 87,000 IRS agents. Promise made, and the very first bill that we passed in the House was to defund 87,000 IRS agents. We should be looking at the FBI as the preeminent law enforcement agency in our country. The experts that are keeping us safe, those that are willing risk their lives to prevent foreign influence, to make sure that our citizens are safe. And I believe in my heart that most agents are that way. I believe that in my heart. But at the top levels, if they've been politicized, and we have every reason to believe that this is the case, that cannot stand. We now know, and this was alleged, and do you remember when it was said that our big tech and social media platforms had been talking to government agencies? Remember when that was said, and the media came out and said, I can't believe that, that's such a lie. Well, it's true. We know it. Elon Musk bought Twitter, and he's come out with the Twitter files, and it shows the email correspondence between the FBI and Twitter suppressing stories. There's no room for that. There's no room for that. We have got to make sure, regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on, that you have freedom of speech, that you're not taken down. We're working through those issues, but I want you to know that I think that this is a sham. I think that it's politically motivated, and it's a very dangerous